When Marcus Chen discovered encrypted files labeled Project Nightfall, October 31, on SpaceX's network at 3:47 a.m., he thought it was just another security breach. But then Elon Musk himself walked into the monitoring room, something that had never happened before. His face was pale, his hands shaking. "What's planned for the end of October is absolutely evil," Musk said, "and we might already be too late to stop it." 3 days earlier, Musk had received an anonymous warning through a channel used only by government intelligence agencies. The message contained coordinates, dates, and a chilling phrase, "The grid goes dark when the moon is full." Similar warnings have been sent to other tech leaders across America. No one knew who sent them. No one knew what was being planned. All they knew was that October 31, 2025, Halloween night, when millions of children would be trick-or-treating in the streets, was the target date. 15 major American cities, 73 million people, complete darkness. And Marcus had just become the first person to stumble onto the conspiracy. As he stared at his computer screen, trying to understand what he'd found, the power suddenly cut out across the entire SpaceX facility. Emergency lights flickered on, casting red shadows across the room. Marcus's screen displayed a single message: "Stop looking, or your daughter pays the price." His 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Someone knew about her, someone was watching, someone was threatening the one person Marcus loved more than life itself. And this was only the beginning. Marcus Chen rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the computer screen. The numbers didn't make sense. It was 3:47 in the morning at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, and something was very wrong. Marcus worked as a cybersecurity analyst. His job was to watch the company's computers and make sure nobody was trying to steal secrets or break into the systems. Tonight, he was the only person in the dark monitoring room, surrounded by screens that glowed blue in the darkness. He leaned closer to his monitor. Someone was moving files. Big files. Secret files. And they were sending them somewhere they shouldn't go. Marcus typed fast, his fingers flying across the keyboard. He knew to trace where these files were going. The computer showed him a path, like following footprints in the snow. The files went to a server in another country, then to another server, then back to somewhere in the United States. That was weird. Really weird. Marcus clicked on one of the files to see what it was called. His stomach felt tight when he read the name: Project Nightfall, October 31 deployment. October 31? That was Halloween? That was only 1 month away. What was Project Nightfall? Marcus had never heard of it, and he knew about all of SpaceX's projects. This was something secret, something hidden. He was about to dig deeper when he heard footsteps behind him. Marcus spun around in his chair. His heart jumped into his throat. Elon Musk stood in the doorway. Marcus had worked at SpaceX for 5 years, and he had never seen Elon Musk in the monitoring room. Not once, especially not at almost 4 o'clock in the morning. "Mr. Musk?" Marcus stood up quickly. I didn't know you were here. I know what you found," Musk said. His voice was quiet and serious. He walked into the room, and Marcus could see his face in the blue light from the screens. Musk looked tired. More than tired, he looked scared. Marcus had never seen Elon Musk look scared before. "Sit down, Marcus," Musk said. "We need to talk." Marcus sat, his hands were shaking a little. Musk pulled up a chair and sat next to him. For a moment, he just stared at the screens showing all the data flowing through SpaceX's systems. 3 days ago, Musk began, "I got a message, not a regular email or text. This came through a special secret channel that only government spy agencies use. The kind of channel you use when you need to tell someone something really important and really dangerous." When Marcus listened, his eyes wide. The message had some coordinates, places on a map. It had dates, and it had one sentence. Musk paused and looked directly at Marcus. It said, "The grid goes dark when the moon is full." "The grid?" Marcus asked. "You mean the power grid? The electrical system?" Musk nodded slowly. "I think so." "And the full moon in October falls on October 3, Halloween night." Marcus felt cold even though the room was warm. "What does it mean?" "I don't know exactly," Musk admitted, "but I'm not the only one who got this message. Jeff Bezos got one. So did the heads of Google and Apple. All of us, the people who run the big technology companies, we all got warned about something happening at the end of October." "Who sent the warnings?" Marcus asked. "We don't know. The messages were anonymous. Whoever sent them is very good at hiding. But Marcus, here's what scares me. Whoever sent these warnings is also someone who knows about government secrets. That means they're either trying to help us or they're playing some kind of game." Marcus thought about the files he had found. "Mr. Musk, those files I was tracking, Project Nightfall, do you think they're connected?" "That's what I came here to find out," Musk said. "Show me what you found." Marcus turned back to his computer and pulled up the data. He showed Musk the path the files had taken, the servers they had touched, the places they had been sent. Musk's face grew more and more serious as he watched. "This is bad," Musk whispered. "This is really bad. Marcus, what's planned for the end of October is absolutely evil, and we might already be too late to stop it." Before Marcus could ask what he meant, everything went dark. The screens went black, the lights went out, the hum of computers and air conditioning stopped. The entire SpaceX facility had lost power. Our emergency lights flickered on, casting red shadows across the room. Marcus's computer screen came back to life, but only a screen. Nothing else had power. On the screen, in big white letters, was a message: "Stop looking, or your daughter pays the price." Marcus's blood turned to ice. Lily, his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Someone knew about her. Someone was threatening her. And whoever they were, they had just shown they could cut the power to one of the most secure buildings in America. Marcus grabbed his phone with shaking hands. He had to call his ex-wife. He had to make sure Lily was safe. But as he looked at his phone, he saw he had a new text message from an unknown number. It had been sent exactly 1 minute ago. The message contained just one thing: a photo of Lily asleep in her bed. Someone had been in his daughter's room tonight while she slept. Marcus looked up at Elon Musk, his eyes filled with fear. "They know where my daughter lives," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "What do I do?" Elon Musk stood up fast and put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Call your ex-wife right now. Make sure Lily is okay." Marcus's fingers fumbled with his phone. He pressed the call button for Sarah, his ex-wife. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Come on," Marcus whispered. "Please answer." On the 4th ring, Sarah picked up. Her voice was sleepy and annoyed. "Marcus, it's almost 4 in the morning. What's wrong?" "Is Lily okay?" Marcus asked quickly. "Is she in her room? Is she safe?"
What? Yes, she's fine. She's asleep.
"Marcus, what's going on? Can you check on her right now?" "Please, Sarah, just go look at her." Marcus heard Sarah sigh, then heard the sound of footsteps. He held his breath. The seconds felt like hours. "She's right here," Sarah said. "Sound asleep, hugging that stuffed elephant you got her?" "Marcus, you're scaring me. What's happening?" Marcus looked at the photo on his phone again. Lily in her bed. The pink sheets. The stuffed elephant. Someone had been there. Someone had taken this picture. "Sarah, I need you to pack a bag and take Lily somewhere safe. Go to your sister's house in San Diego. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Leave right now." "Marcus Chen, you better tell me what's going on right this second, or I'm not going anywhere." Marcus looked at Musk, who nodded. "There are some bad people who might try to hurt our family because of my work. I can't explain everything now, but please trust me. Just this once. Trust me." Sarah was quiet for a moment. Marcus could hear her breathing. They had been divorced for 2 years and they didn't always get along. But she knew Marcus wasn't the type to panic over nothing. "Okay," Sarah said finally. "We'll go to my sister's. But Marcus, you owe me a real explanation later." "Thank you," Marcus said, really flooding through him. "And Sarah, don't use your credit cards. Use cash. And leave your phones at home. Take the old phone from the junk drawer. The one without internet. They're really freaking me out." "I know, I'm sorry. Just please be safe. I'll call you in a few hours." Marcus hung up and looked at Musk. The emergency lights made everything look red and strange. "Good thinking about the phones," Musk said. "If they can track your daughter, they're definitely tracking your calls. We need to assume they're watching everything. Computers, phones, cameras, everything." "Who are they?" Marcus asked. "Who would do this?" "I don't know yet," Musk said. "But we need to find out fast. And Marcus, we can't trust the normal channels. If these people can hack into SpaceX and know about your daughter, they might have people working inside the government, inside the police, inside everything." Marcus felt sick to his stomach. How were they supposed to fight enemies they couldn't see? There might be one person who can help us," Musk said slowly. "There's a journalist in New York. She writes about cybersecurity and hacking. She's been investigating some weird things happening with the internet lately. Her name is Priya Sharma. Brooklyn, New York. Same night, 6:47 a.m. Eastern Time. 3,000 miles away, Priya Sharma was already awake. She was always awake early. Sleep was hard when your mind was full of questions that needed answers. Priya sat at her kitchen table in her small Brooklyn apartment, surrounded by papers and her laptop. She was 35 years old and had worked at the New York Times for 8 years. She loved her job, even when it was frustrating. And right now, it was very frustrating. And for the past 3 months, Priya had been tracking something strange. Internet traffic, the way data moves around the world, had been acting weird. Little changes that most people wouldn't notice. But Priya noticed. She had sources who worked at the NSA, the National Security Agency, the government organization that monitors communications. Her sources wouldn't talk on the record, but they had hinted at something. They called it Operation Cascade. But every time Priya asked for more details, her sources got quiet. They acted scared. Priya took a sip of her coffee and opened her email. Most of it was boring. Press releases from companies, spam, meeting requests from her editor. But one email made her stop. The subject line said they're targeting the infrastructure, October. The sender was an address she didn't recognize. A long string of random numbers and letters. The email had been sent through an encrypted service, the kind people use when they want to hide their identity. Priya clicked on the email. Her heart started beating faster as she read. The email had no words, just attachments, dozens of document files. Priya knew she should be careful about opening attachments from strangers. They could contain viruses or malware, but something told her these documents were important. She opened the first file. It was a technical document showing the computer systems used by American Electric Power, one of the biggest electrical companies in the United States. Someone had drawn red circles around parts of the system that had weaknesses, places where hackers could break in. Priya opened another file. This one showed similar weaknesses in Pacific Gas and Electric in California. Another file, problems with Duke Energy systems. And another, security holes in the New York Power Company Con Edison. Priya counted the files. There were 15 of them, 15 different power companies in 15 different major cities: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, Dallas, Austin, Jacksonville, Fort Worth, Columbus, Charlotte, and San Francisco. Someone had been studying all of these companies. Someone had found all their weaknesses. And according to these documents, someone had already broken into their computer systems and planted something called malware, bad software designed to cause damage. The document showed that this malware was designed to do something very specific. It would activate all at the same time on October 31 at exactly 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time. Priya looked at her calendar. October 31 was only 29 days away. And she did the math in her head. October 31 at 8:47 p.m. That was Halloween night. That was exactly when millions of kids would be out trick-or-treating, when streets would be full of families, when everyone would have their lights on and their doors open. If the power went out in all of these cities at the same time with all these people outside in the dark, Priya felt cold. She stood up and walked to her window, looking out at Brooklyn, waking up, people walking dogs, parents taking kids to school, everyone going about their normal day, not knowing that someone might be planning something terrible. She needed to tell her editor, Robert Hastings. She needed to write a story about this. But would he believe her? Would anyone believe her? Priya went back to her laptop and started writing an email to Robert. She attached the documents and wrote, "We need to talk about this immediately. I think someone is planning to attack the power grid on Halloween." She had sent and waited. Her phone buzzed. A new text message from an unknown number. Priya opened it. The message said, "I hope you're a good investigator, Miss Sharma. You're going to need to be. Lives depend on what you do next. But be careful, they're watching." Priya's hands were shaking. Who sent this? The same person who sent the email? She tried to reply to the text, but she got an error message. The number was no longer in service. Priya looked at the documents again. 15 cities. Millions of people. October, someone was planning something evil. And somehow, Priya had just become part of the story. Her apartment buzzer rang, making her jump. She wasn't expecting anyone. Priya walked to the intercom and pressed the button. Who is it? "Delivery for Priya Sharma," a man's voice said. "I didn't order anything." "Someone sent you a package. Need you to sign for it." Priya hesitated. After the mysterious email and text, she didn't trust anything. But she was curious. She went downstairs and opened the building's front door. A delivery man in a brown uniform stood there with a small package. "Sign here," he said, holding out an electronic pad. Priya signed and took the package. It was light, about the size of a book. There was no return address. Back in her apartment, Priya carefully opened the package. Inside was a burner phone, a cheap phone with no contract, the kind people buy when they don't want to be traced. Taped to the phone was a note written in neat handwriting. "Ms. Sharma, use this phone to call the number programmed into it. Do it now. Do it alone. Don't use your regular phone. They're listening. You have information they don't want published. Your life changed the moment you opened that email. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to help. Call the number. A friend." Priya stared at the note. This was crazy. This was like something from a spy movie, not real life. But those documents were real. The threat was real. She turned on the burner phone. There was one number programmed into it. No name, just a number. Priya took a deep breath and pressed call. Someone answered on the first ring. Miss Sharma, thank you for calling. We don't have much time. Someone is planning to shut down the power in 15 American cities on Halloween night, and I think they're going to do much worse than that. We need to stop them. Are you willing to help? Priya held the burner phone tight against her ear. Her heart was pounding. Who is this? How do you know my name? How did you get my address? Those are fair questions, the voice said. It was a woman's voice, calm and professional. My name is Diana Foster. I'm an agent with CISA, that stands for Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. We're part of the Department of Homeland Security. I work in Washington, D.C. If you're really a government agent, why are you calling me on a burner phone? Priya asked. But why all the secrecy? Because I don't know who I can trust anymore, Diana said. Someone inside the government might be helping the people who are planning this attack. I can't use official channels. I can't even trust my own office. Priya sat down at her kitchen table. This was getting more and more serious. The documents I received this morning, did you send them? No, Diana said, but I know who did. There was a hacker group we've been tracking for 6 months. They call themselves the October Alliance. The documents you got came from someone inside that group. Someone who maybe wants to stop what's happening, or someone who wants to scare us. I'm not sure which yet. Tell me what you know, Priya said. She grabbed a notebook and pen. As a journalist, she always took notes. Old-fashioned paper and pen. No computers, no digital records that could be hacked. Diana took a breath. The October Alliance has members in Russia, China, North Korea, and here in the United States. They've been working on this plan for at least 2 years. They've broken into the computer systems that control electrical power in 15 major American cities. They've planted malware, bad software that will shut down the power all at once. The document said October 31 at 8:47 p.m. Priya said, writing quickly. That's right, Halloween night, the worst possible time. Millions of kids will be out trick-or-treating. Streets will be crowded. And then suddenly all the lights go out. Traffic lights stop working. Street lights go dark. Houses go black. Can you imagine the panic, the chaos? Yeah, I could imagine it. Parents trying to find their children in the dark. Cars crashing because traffic lights weren't working. People trapped in elevators. It would be a nightmare. But here's what really scares me, Diana continued. I don't think the blackout is the main goal. I think it's a distraction. A distraction from what? Priya asked. Well, everyone's dealing with the power being out. While police and firefighters and hospitals are overwhelmed. That's when the real crimes will happen. We've intercepted some communications messages between members of the October Alliance. They're planning to rob Federal Reserve banks in 5 cities. They're going to steal classified information from the Pentagon, and they're going to release prisoners from jails that use electronic locks. Priya wrote faster, her hand almost cramping. How many prisoners? Around 4,000 violent criminals, murderers, robbers, gang members, all let loose while the power is out and the police can't respond properly. My God, Priya whispered. This isn't just a cyber attack. This is warfare. Exactly, Diana said. This is a coordinated attack designed to hurt America as badly as possible. And Miss Sharma, I need your help because I can't stop it alone. My boss, Director James Walsh, he doesn't want to tell the public. He says it would cause panic. The White House agrees with him. They want us to stop the attack quietly without anyone knowing it was ever going to happen. But what if you can't stop it? Priya asked. That's exactly my concern. If we can't stop it, then people don't know to prepare. The casualties will be much worse. But if I go public without permission, I'll lose my job and maybe go to jail for revealing classified information. Priya understood. Diana was asking her to write the story. Journalists had more freedom to publish information than government agents did. I can write something, Priya said, but my editor will need proof. He won't publish a story about a massive attack based on anonymous documents. I can give you proof, Diana said. I can give you interviews with cybersecurity experts who confirm the power grid is vulnerable. I can show you the patterns in internet traffic that prove someone has been infiltrating these systems. I won't be able to tell you classified details, but I can give you enough to write a story that's true and that warns people. Priya thought for a moment. This was the biggest story of her career, maybe the biggest story in years, but it was also dangerous. Someone had already tracked her down and sent her those documents. Someone knew she had this information. Miss Sharma, Diana said quietly, I know this is frightening, but 29 days from now, millions of people might be in danger. If your story can warn even some of them, if it can make people prepare with flashlights and emergency supplies, if it can make parents keep their kids home on Halloween, then we might save lives. Okay, Priya said, I'll do it. But I need to meet you in person. I need to verify you are who you say you are. Fair enough. Can you get to Washington, D.C.? I can be there by this afternoon.
Oh, good.
Meet me at the Lincoln Memorial at 3:00 p.m. Come alone. Don't tell anyone where you're going. And Miss Sharma? From now on, assume your phone is tapped, your computer is monitored, and you're being followed. These people are very good at what they do.
The call ended. Priya sat in her kitchen, staring at her notes. Her normal life had just ended. She was now part of something bigger and more dangerous than anything she'd ever covered. She looked at her regular phone sitting on the table. Should she call her editor and tell him she was going to DC? Should she tell her parents? Her friends? No. Diana had said to tell no one. Priya went to her bedroom and packed a small bag. She'd take the train to DC. Trains were harder to track than planes. She'd pay cash for the ticket. She'd be careful. As she was zipping up her bag, her apartment security camera, the one she'd installed on her door after a break-in last year, sent an alert to her phone. Someone was outside her door. Priya opened the camera app and looked at the live feed. A man stood in her hallway, just standing there. He wasn't knocking. He wasn't trying to break in. He was just standing there, looking at the camera. The man was wearing a dark suit and sunglasses. He looked like a government agent or someone pretending to be one. As Priya watched, the man reached into his jacket and pulled out a white sign. He held it up to the camera. The sign said, "Drop the story or you'll never see sunrise on November 1st. Priya's blood ran cold. They knew. They knew she had the documents. They knew she was going to write about this. The man put the sign away, turned and walked down the hallway. He didn't run. He wasn't in a hurry. He was confident. He was sending a message. We know where you live. We can get to you anytime. Priya grabbed her bag and her laptop. She took the burner phone Diana had sent. She left her regular phone on the kitchen table. If they were tracking it, let them think she was still home. She went to her fire escape window, the one that led down to the alley behind her building. As she'd use the back exit, she'd get to the train station. She'd get to Washington, D.C. And she wouldn't stop. She couldn't stop. Because if she stopped now, those millions of people would have no warning. They'd be sitting ducks on Halloween night. Priya climbed out her window onto the metal fire escape. The morning air was cold. Brooklyn was waking up below her. People going to work, living normal lives. For 29 more days, life was normal. After that, everything might change. Priya started climbing down the fire escape. She didn't look back. Behind her, in her apartment, her regular phone buzzed with a new text message. The message said, "Running won't help. We're always watching." But Priya didn't see it. She was already gone. October 3, 2025, Los Angeles, California. Marcus Chen hadn't slept in 2 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that photo of Lily sleeping in her bed. Someone had been in her room. Someone had threatened his little girl. But at least she was safe now. Sarah had called from a gas station payphone in San Diego to tell him they'd arrived at her sister's house. Lily thought it was an adventure. She didn't know about the danger. Marcus sat in a coffee shop called Tom's Urban near the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Elon Musk had told him to come here and wait. Someone would contact him. Marcus checked his watch. 2:15 p.m. He'd been waiting for 45 minutes, drinking coffee and trying not to look nervous. His new burner phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number, gray backpack. Table by the window. Don't look around. Just read the note inside the front pocket. Marcus's heart raced. He looked carefully around the coffee shop. There, a gray backpack sitting on a chair at a table by the window. No one was sitting there. Marcus stood up slowly and walked to the table. He picked up the backpack like it was his own and sat down. His hands were shaking as he unzipped the front pocket. Inside was a folded piece of paper. Marcus opened it and read, "Mr. Chen, my name is Priya Sharma. I'm a journalist investigating the same threat you discovered. I received documents about a tax plan for October 31. We need to work together. If you're willing to talk, order a blueberry muffin at the counter and sit back down. I'm watching to make sure you weren't followed. P.S." Marcus looked around but couldn't tell who was watching him. The coffee shop had about 20 people in it. Any of them could be Priya Sharma, or any of them could be working for the people who threatened his daughter. But Marcus didn't have a choice. He needed help. He couldn't fight these people alone. He walked to the counter and ordered a blueberry muffin. The barista gave him a strange look. It was an odd thing to order at 2:30 in the afternoon, but she got him the muffin anyway. Marcus went back to the table and waited. 5 minutes later, a woman with dark hair and brown skin sat down across from me. She was wearing jeans and a blue jacket. She looked tired but alert. "Mr. Chen," she said quietly, "Priya Sharma. Thank you for trusting me." "How do I know you're really a journalist?" Marcus asked. "How do I know you're not one of them?" Priya pulled out her New York Times press badge. I write about technology and cybersecurity. You can look up my articles online. I've been investigating strange internet patterns for months. Then 3 days ago, someone sent me documents showing that hackers have broken into power company computers in 15 cities. Marcus felt relief wash over him. She was real. She was investigating the same thing. I work at SpaceX, Marcus said. I found files on our network labeled Project Nightfall October 31 deployment. When I tried to investigate, someone threatened my daughter. They sent me a photo of her sleeping in her bed. Pray's face filled with concern. Is she safe now? She's with her mother in a safe place. But I'm terrified. These people know everything about me. They know about me too, Priya said. Yesterday morning, a man stood outside my apartment, holding a sign that said I'd never see November 1st if I didn't drop the story. I had to sneak out my fire escape. They sat in silence for a moment, two strangers thrown together by a threat neither of them fully understood. There's someone else we need to talk to, Priya said. She pulled out her burner phone and made a call. We're secure, you can come in now. And Marcus turned and saw another woman enter the coffee shop. She was wearing a dark business suit and had short blonde hair. She walked with confidence like someone used to being in charge. The woman sat down at their table. Mr. Chen, Ms. Sharma, I'm Agent Diana Foster from CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. I've been tracking the group behind this attack for 6 months. Marcus felt a little better knowing a federal agent was involved. Can't you just arrest these people? Stop the attack? Diana shook her head. It's not that simple. The October Alliance, that's what they call themselves, as members all over the world. We've identified some of them, but not all. And the malware they've planted in the power grid systems is sophisticated. Even if we arrest everyone we know about, the malware might still activate on October 3rd. So what do we do? Priya asked. Diana pulled out a tablet and showed them a map of the United States. 15 cities were marked with red dots. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, Dallas, Austin, Jacksonville, Fort Worth, Columbus, Charlotte, and San Francisco. These are the target cities, Diana explained. The attack is planned in 3 phases. Phase 1 happens at 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time on October 3. That's when the power goes out. Phase 2 happens at 9:15 p.m. That's when emergency communication systems get disabled. Police radios, fire department communications, hospital networks, all of it goes dark. And Phase 3? Marcus asked, though he wasn't sure if he wanted to know. Phase 3 is at 9:45 p.m. That's when the real objectives happen. While everyone is dealing with the blackout and the communication failures, the October Alliance will execute their main plan. We know it involves robbing banks, stealing military secrets, and releasing prisoners, but we don't know all the details. Pio's taking notes on a small paper pad. Who's leading the October Alliance? There must be someone in charge. We think so, Diana said. Our communications intercepts always refer to someone called the Architect. This person seems to be the mastermind behind everything, but we don't know who they are. We've never heard their voice or seen their face. They communicate only through encrypted text messages. Marcus thought about what Elon Musk had told him. So, Mr. Musk said several tech company leaders received warnings about something happening at the end of October. Could one of them be the Architect? We've considered that, Diana said, but we've investigated all of them. They seem genuinely concerned about the threat. Unless one of them is a very good actor, I don't think any of them are involved. So we're looking for someone with massive technical skills, Priya said, thinking out loud. Someone who can coordinate hackers in multiple countries. Someone who knows how power grids work, how government systems work, how to hide their identity. And someone with a reason to do this, Diana added. People don't plan something this big without a motive. Money, politics, revenge. We need to figure out what drives the Architect. Marcus looked at both women. 3 days ago, I was a regular guy doing my job. Now I'm hiding my daughter and meeting with federal agents and journalists in coffee shops. This is insane. Welcome to my world, Priya said with a weak smile. I've been investigating cybersecurity threats for years, but I've never seen anything like this. Diana leaned forward, her voice serious. Here's what we know for sure. For 28 days from now, on Halloween night, something terrible is going to happen unless we stop it. The 3 of us have pieces of the puzzle. Marcus has information from SpaceX. Priya has the leaked documents. I have intelligence from government sources. If we work together, maybe we can figure out who the Architect is and stop this attack before it's too late. What if we can't? Marcus asked quietly. Diana didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, then on November 1st, America will wake up to one of the worst disasters in our history. Thousands might be dead. Cities will be in chaos. and the people who did it will have proven that our country is more vulnerable than anyone imagined. The coffee shop suddenly felt very quiet. Around them, people were laughing, talking, drinking coffee. People living normal lives. They had no idea what was coming. Priya closed her notebook. So where do we start? Diana pulled up a file on her tablet. We start with the only label we have. There's a man named Victor Reeves, former Army Ranger, now works as a military contractor. 6 years ago, he submitted a report to Congress showing exactly how vulnerable our power grid is. Congress ignored him. After that, he disappeared from public life. My team traced some of the October Alliance's communications to a location near his last known address. You think he's the architect? Marcus asked. Maybe. Or maybe he's just another piece of the puzzle. But we need to find him and ask some questions. Where is he? Priya asked. Last we heard, somewhere in New Mexico, near Santa Fe. We're working on getting an exact location. Marcus's burner phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his face went pale. What is it? Diana asked. Marcus showed them the phone, a new text message from an unknown number. It had a photo attached, a picture of the three of them sitting in the coffee shop taken just moments ago. Below the photo was a message. The three investigators have finally connected. Excellent. You're doing exactly what we expected. Keep looking. You're getting warmer. But remember, we're always 10 steps ahead. See you on October 31. The architect. Priya looked around the coffee shop with wide eyes. Someone here is watching us right now. Diana stood up quickly. Everyone stay calm. Don't look around. We need to leave separately. Marcus, you go first. Take the front door. Priya, wait 2 minutes, then leave through the back exit near the bathrooms. I'll wait another 2 minutes and leave last. What about the person watching us? Marcus asked. Let them watch, Diana said grimly. At least now we know something important. What's that? Priya asked. The architect wants us to investigate. They're not trying to stop us, they're encouraging us. Which means either they're supremely confident we can't stop them, or they want us to find something. The question is what? October 6, 2025, Washington, D.C. Diana Foster sat in her office at the Department of Homeland Security building. It was 11:30 at night, but she couldn't go home. She couldn't sleep, not when they only had 25 days left. Her computer screen showed a map with lines connecting different cities. Red lines showed where the October Alliance had been communicating. Blue lines showed where the malware had been planted in power company systems. Green lines showed money transfers between bank accounts. All the lines led back to one area, New Mexico. Diana's phone rang. It was Marcus Chen calling from Los Angeles. I found something, Marcus said, his voice excited. I've been using SpaceX satellite data to track unusual communication patterns. Every night at 3:47 a.m., there's a burst of encrypted data being sent from somewhere near Missoula, Montana, to servers connected to the power grid systems. Montana? Diana said, surprised. Not New Mexico? I thought it was New Mexico too, Marcus said. But when I looked closer at the satellite data, I found this Montana signal. It's been happening for 6 months, like clockwork. 3:47 a.m. every single night. Diana wrote down the information. Can you pinpoint the exact location?
I'm working on it. The signal is being bounced around to hide its source, but I should have coordinates in a few hours.
Good work, Marcus. Send me the coordinates as soon as you have them. Diana hung up and immediately called Priya Sharma in New York. I hope you're calling with good news, Priya answered, because I just got another threatening message. This one said I have 25 days to say goodbye to everyone I love. These people are trying to scare you, Diana said. Don't let them. Listen, Marcus found something. There's a communication pattern coming from Montana. Does that mean anything to you? Have any of your sources mentioned Montana? Priya was quiet for a moment, thinking, wait, yes. 3 months ago, one of my NSA contacts mentioned something about a former government cryptographer who moved to Montana after she quit. She was some kind of genius with computer security. Let me check my notes. Diana heard papers rustling on the other end of the phone. Here it is, Priya said. Her name is Dr. Samantha Frost. She worked for the NSA for 15 years. She was one of their best people, designing security systems for critical infrastructure like power grids and water treatment plants. But in 2018, she testified before Congress about how vulnerable our systems were. She warned them that a coordinated cyber attack could bring down multiple cities at once. What happened? Diana asked. Congress ignored her. One senator actually laughed at her concerns, called them science fiction paranoia. 6 months later, Dr. Frost resigned from the NSA and disappeared. No one has heard from her since. Diana felt a chill run down her spine. Do you know where In Montana she went. My notes say somewhere near Missoula. She bought a ranch with cash. Wanted to get away from everything. Missoula. The same place Marcus's satellite data was pointing to. Priya, I think we just found the architect, Diana said. October 8, 2025, FBI field office, Los Angeles. Diana flew to Los Angeles to meet with Marcus and Priya in person. They couldn't risk communicating too much over phones, even burner phones. The October Alliance seemed to be able to track everything. They sat in a secure conference room at the FBI field office. Diana had pulled some strings to get them access without her boss, Director Walsh, knowing about it. I pulled up everything I could find on Dr. Samantha Frost, Diana said, showing them files on a tablet. She's 52 years old, graduated from MIT at age 19, worked for the NSA starting when she was 25. She helped design the security systems protecting our electrical grid, our water systems, our communications networks, basically everything that keeps America running. Marcus looked at her photo. Dr. Frost had graying hair and kind eyes. She looked like someone's grandmother, not a cyber terrorist. Are we sure she's the architect? Marcus asked. She doesn't look like someone who would hurt people. That's what makes her dangerous, Diana said. She knows exactly how to hurt people because she spent her career learning how to protect them. She knows every weakness, every vulnerability, every backdoor in our infrastructure systems. Priya scrolled through the testimony Dr. Frost had given to Congress in 2018. Listen to this. She told them, if we don't fix these vulnerabilities, someone will exploit them. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. And when that day comes, hundreds or thousands of Americans could die. We have the knowledge and the technology to prevent this. What we lack is the will to act. That was 7 years ago. They ignored her, Marcus said quietly. So now she's going to prove she was right by making it happen herself. Diana nodded. That's my theory. She's going to create the disaster she warned about, and when it's over, Congress will have no choice but to spend billions of dollars fixing the problems. She'll force them to do what she asked them to do 7 years ago. But people will die, Priya said. Is she really willing to kill innocent people to make a point? I don't know, Diana admitted, but we need to find out. We need to get to Montana and talk to her. Maybe we can convince her to stop, or maybe we can find evidence that will help us disable the malware before October. Marcus looked worried. If we go to Montana, won't she know we're coming? The October Alliance has been watching us. They know our every move. That's why we're going to be smart about it, Diana said. We're going to make them think we're going somewhere else. I'm going to file an official travel report saying I'm going to Santa Fe, New Mexico to investigate Victor Reeves. But actually, the three of us will quietly drive to Montana. No planes, no electronic tickets, nothing they can track. What about Director Walsh? Priya asked. Doesn't he need to approve your travel? Diana hesitated. This was the part she didn't like. No, I'm not going to tell Director Walsh. I'm going off the books. If I'm wrong about Dr. Frost, I'll probably lose my job. But if I'm right and we wait for official approval, we'll run out of time. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Los Angeles was busy with afternoon traffic. Millions of people going about their lives, not knowing that someone was planning to throw their world into darkness. My daughter is only 8 years old, Marcus said quietly. If we fail, if the attack happens, what kind of world will she grow up in? A world where you can't trust the lights to stay on, where you can't trust that hospitals will work, where you're afraid all the time. Then we don't fail, Priya said firmly. We have 23 days. We find Dr. Frost. We get answers. We stop this attack. Diana looked at both of them. Before we do this, I need to make sure you understand the risks. I'm a federal agent. This is my job, even if I'm breaking some rules. But you two are civilians. Marcus, you have a daughter who needs you. Priya, you have a career at one of the best newspapers in the world. If this goes wrong, if the October Alliance decides you're too much of a threat, they might do more than just send threatening messages. They already threatened my daughter, Marcus said, turning from the window. I'm not backing down now. They told me I'd never see November 1st, Priya added. I'm not going to let them be right about that. I'm in. Diana felt a surge of respect for both of them. They were scared. She could see it in their eyes, but they were brave enough to act anyway. That was real courage. Okay, Diana said. We leave tomorrow morning. Pack light. Bring cash. No credit cards. Leave your regular phones behind. We'll drive in shifts so we can get to Montana as fast as possible. What do we do when we find Dr. Frost? Marcus asked. We ask her why, Diana said. Why is she doing this? What does she really want? And is there any way to stop the attack without anyone getting hurt? And if she won't talk to us, Priya asked. Diana's face was grim. Then we find another way. We break into her systems. We find the malware and disable it ourselves. We do whatever it takes. That night, each of them went back to their homes to prepare. Marcus called Sarah on payphone to check on Lily. She was doing fine, learning to surf with her aunt in San Diego. She missed her daddy, but was having fun. Marcus didn't tell her what he was about to do. Some things kids didn't need to know. Priya wrote an email to her editor, Robert Hastings, explaining what she'd learned so far. She scheduled it to send automatically on October 25, 6 days before the planned attack. If something happened to her, at least the information would get out. Diana sat in her apartment, looking at a photo of her younger brother. He died in a car accident 5 years ago. She'd become a federal agent because she wanted to protect people, to prevent tragedies. Now she was about to risk everything. Her career, maybe her life, to stop a tragedy from happening. She'd thought about Director Walsh and felt guilty for not telling him what she was doing. He was her boss. He trusted her. But something about this whole situation didn't feel right. Walsh had been too quick to want to keep things quiet, too reluctant to warn the public. Why? Diana shook her head. She was being paranoid. Walsh was a good man. He was just trying to avoid panic. That was all. But still, a small voice in the back of her mind whispered, "What if you're wrong? What if you're missing something?" Diana put the photo away and started packing her bag. Tomorrow they would drive to Montana. Tomorrow they would find Dr. Frost. Tomorrow they would get answers. 23 days until October. 23 days to save millions of people from darkness. October 10th, 2025, Interstate 15, heading north. Diana drove while Marcus sat in the passenger seat and Priya worked on her laptop in the back. They'd been on the road for 6 hours, heading north through Nevada toward Montana. The landscape was empty, just desert and mountains, an endless highway. How much longer? Priya asked, stretching her neck. About 12 more hours if we don't stop much, Diana said. We should reach Missoula tomorrow morning. Marcus was quiet. He'd been quiet for the last hour, just staring out the window at the desert passing by. You okay? Diana asked him. Marcus didn't answer right away. Finally he said, I keep thinking about Lily. What if something happens to me? What if I don't come back from this? You'll come back, Diana said firmly. We all will. You can't promise that, Marcus said. The October Lance has already shown they can get to anyone. They got into my daughter's bedroom. They found Priya's apartment. They're always watching. What makes you think they don't know we're driving to Montana right now? So Diana had thought about this too. Because we were careful. We left our regular phones at home. We're paying cash for everything. We're in a rental car that's registered under a fake name. We're doing everything right. But what if it's not enough? Marcus insisted. What if his burner phone rang, cutting him off? Marcus looked at the screen. Unknown number. His hand shook as he answered. Hello? Daddy? Marcus's heart stopped. It was Lily's voice. Lily? Baby, where are you? Are you okay?
Daddy, I'm scared. There are bad people here. They say you need to stop what you're doing or they'll hurt me.
Lily, listen to me, Marcus started to say, but the line went dead. No, Marcus shouted. Lily! Lily! Diana pulled the car over to the side of the highway. What happened? Marcus's face was white. His whole body was shaking. That was Lily. She said bad people have her. They said I need to stop or they'll hurt her. Call Sarah, Priya said urgently. Call your ex-wife right now. Marcus dialed Sarah's number with trembling fingers. It rang 4 times before she answered. Marcus, why are you calling? I thought we agreed. Is Lily there? Marcus interrupted. Right now, is she with you?
Of course she's here. She's in the living room watching cartoons with her cousin Marcus. What's wrong?
Can you see her? Can you see her right now with your own eyes? Sarah's voice changed, becoming worried. Hold on. Marcus heard footsteps, then Sarah's voice again. She's right here. She's fine. She's eating popcorn and watching some show about talking dogs. Marcus, you're scaring me. What's going on? Marcus let out a breath. He didn't know he'd been holding. Someone just called me. They used Lily's voice. They said they had her. That's impossible. She's been here all day. We haven't left the house. It was her voice, Marcus said. I know my daughter's voice. Priya leaned forward from the back seat. They probably used artificial intelligence. AI can copy someone's voice if it has enough samples. They must have recorded Lily talking at some point. Maybe from a video you posted online or a voicemail she left. Then they used AI to make it sound like she was saying something new. Marcus felt sick, so it was fake. She's really safe? She's really safe, Sarah said on the phone. Marcus, what have you gotten involved in? I can explain now. Just please keep her inside. Don't let her out of your sight. And if anyone comes to the house, anyone at all, call the police immediately. You're terrifying me. I know. I'm sorry. But please, just do what I'm asking. I'll explain everything later. I promise. Marcus hung up and put his head in his hands. His whole body was shaking. Diana put her hand on his shoulder. They're playing mind games with you. They want you to give up. They want you to stop investigating. It's working, Marcus said, his voice breaking. I can't do this. I can't risk my daughter's life. Your daughter is fine, Priya said gently. But if we stop now, if we let the October Alliance succeed, thousands of other children won't be fine. Kids will be separated from their parents in the blackout. Some will get hurt in the chaos. Some might die.
That's not fair, Marcus said.
I'm not responsible for all those other kids. I'm only responsible for Lily. I know this is hard, Diana said. But Marcus, think about it. If the October Alliance really had Lily, why would they call to warn you? They just take her and tell you afterward. The fact that they called means they don't have her. They're bluffing. They're desperate. Marcus looked up. You think they're desperate? Yes. We're getting close to something. We're 24 hours away from finding Dr. Frost. They're trying to stop us before we get there. Marcus wiped his eyes. He thought about what Lily had said to him after she was rescued. People who hurt others because they're hurting are just making the world sadder. His 8-year-old daughter understood something important. Giving in to fear, letting bad people win, that just made the world worse. Okay, Marcus said finally, I'm still in. But I swear, if anything happens to Lily because of this, nothing will happen to her, Diana promised. I'll have FBI agents watching Sarah's sister's house in San Diego. 24-hour protection. Lily will be safer than the president. Diana got back on the road. They drove in silence for a while, each person lost in their own thoughts. After an hour, Priya spoke up from the back seat. They've tried to scare all of us, you know. They threatened Marcus's daughter. They told me I'd never see November 1st. Diana, have they threatened you?
Diana kept her eyes on the road. Not directly, but my boss, Director Walsh, called me this morning. He wanted to know why I filed a travel report for Santa Fe, but my government credit card hasn't been used. I told him I decided to drive and pay cash to avoid being tracked. He seemed suspicious.
Do you think he knows where we really are? Marcus asked. I don't know, maybe. Or maybe he's just being a boss, checking up on his agent. What if he tells someone? Priya asked. What if he accidentally alerts the October Alliance? Diana had thought about this too. Then we'll have to be extra careful when we get to Montana. We'll assume someone is waiting for us. They drove through the night, taking turns at the wheel. By dawn, they were crossing into Montana. The landscape changed from desert to mountains covered with pine trees. The air was colder here, crisp and clean. At 7:30 a.m. on October 11, they reached the outskirts of Missoula. Now what? Marcus asked. Diana pulled out a map. According to the property records I pulled, Dr. Frost's ranch is about 40 miles northwest of the city. It's remote, no close neighbors, only one access road. If we drive up to the front gate, she'll definitely see us coming. So, how do we approach her? Priya asked. Carefully, Diana said. We don't know if she's alone out there. She might have guards, she might have weapons. We need to scout the location first before we make contact. They drove carefully along country roads, following Diana's map. The ranch was in a beautiful valley, surrounded by mountains. We could see it from a distance. A modern house with solar panels on the roof, several outbuildings, and lots of satellite dishes. That's a lot of technology for someone who wants to disappear, Marcus observed. She didn't disappear to get away from technology, Priya said. She disappeared to get away from people who wouldn't listen to her warnings. Diana parked the car behind a hill about a mile from the ranch. She pulled out binoculars and studied the property. I see smoke from the chimney. Someone's home. There's a vehicle parked outside. Looks like a truck. You don't see any guards, but that doesn't mean they're not there. What's the plan? Marcus asked. Diana lowered the binoculars. We walk up to the front door and knock. We tell Dr. Frost who we are and why we're here. We appeal to the person she used to be, someone who wanted to protect people, not hurt them. And if she doesn't want to talk, Priya asked, then we figure out plan B. They got out of the car and started walking toward the ranch. The Montana morning was beautiful, blue sky, fresh air, birds singing. It seemed wrong that something so peaceful could be connected to something so dangerous. As they got closer to the ranch, Marcus noticed something. There are cameras everywhere. On the fence posts, on the trees, on the buildings. She's definitely watching us right now. Sure enough, when they were still 100 yards from the house, the front door opened. A woman stepped out onto the porch. She had graying hair and wore jeans and a flannel shirt. She looked exactly like her photo, Dr. Samantha Frost. She wasn't holding a weapon, she wasn't running away. She just stood there waiting for them. When they got close enough, she called out, Agent Foster, Mr. Chen, Miss Sharma, I've been expecting you. Come inside, we have a lot to talk about. Marcus, Priya, and Diana exchanged nervous glances. Dr. Frost knew their names. She had been expecting them. This felt wrong. How does she know who we are? Marcus whispered. Because she's been watching us the whole time, Diana whispered back, just like the architect has been. He approached the porch slowly. Dr. Frost smiled at them, a warm, friendly smile that didn't match the situation at all. Please, don't be afraid, Dr. Frost said. I'm not going to hurt you, I just want to talk. I have coffee and breakfast inside. You must be tired after driving all night. How do you know we drove all night? Priya asked. Because you're intelligent people who wouldn't risk flying or using credit cards that could be tracked. Come in, please. Diana's hand rested on her service weapon, but she didn't draw it. They followed Dr. Frost into the house. Inside, the ranch was beautiful. Modern furniture, big windows looking out at the mountains, and an entire wall covered with computer monitors. The screens showed security camera feeds from all around the property. Sit down, Dr. Frost said, gesturing to a comfortable couch. I'll get the coffee. They sat, but nobody relaxed. Marcus studied the computer monitors. He could see their rental car parked behind the hill. Dr. Frost had cameras everywhere. She'd probably been watching them since they entered the valley. Dr. Frost returned with a tray holding 4 coffee mugs and a plate of muffins. She sat in a chair across from them. And why you're here? Dr. Frost said calmly. You think I'm the architect. You think I'm planning to attack the power grid on October 3rd. Oh, you? Diana asked directly. Dr. Frost took a sip of coffee. That's a complicated question with a complicated answer. The truth is, I did plan an attack. 7 years ago, I warned Congress that our infrastructure was vulnerable. I showed them exactly how a cyber attack could bring down multiple cities at once. They laughed at me. They called my concerns paranoia. So you decided to prove you were right by making it happen, Priya said. Not quite, Dr. Frost said. I decided to create a demonstration, a controlled event that would wake people up without causing real harm. The plan was to shut down power in 15 cities for exactly 47 minutes in October, long enough to cause disruption and improve the vulnerability, but short enough to prevent serious casualties. 47 minutes? Marcus said. The documents we saw didn't mention a time limit. That's because the documents you saw weren't my complete plan, Dr. Frost explained. Someone stole my work and changed it. Someone more dangerous than me. Diana leaned forward. Who? Victor Reeves, former Army Ranger. I recruited him 6 months ago because I needed someone with operational expertise. But Victor, Dr. Frost's face darkened. Victor wanted to go further. He didn't want a demonstration. He wanted permanent destruction. He wanted to bring down the government itself. Where is Reeves now? Diana demanded. I don't know. When I realized what he was planning, I tried to stop him. He took all my technical work, the malware codes, the access points, everything, and disappeared. He modified my design. My version had a kill switch and a 47-minute timer. His version has neither. Priya pulled out her notebook. So, on October 31, which version activates? Yours or his? I don't know. Dr. Frost admitted, and for the first time she looked frightened. Victor is smart. He might have disabled my version completely. If his version activates instead, the blackout could last days or weeks, and that's when people really start dying. Marcus felt his anger rising. You created this mess. You built a weapon and handed it to a madman. How could you be so stupid? Dr. Frost flinched like she'd been slapped. You're right. I made a terrible mistake. I thought I could control everything. I thought I was smarter than everyone else. I was wrong. Why didn't you come to the authorities when Reeves went rogue? Diana asked. Would you have believed me? A disgraced former NSA employee claiming she built a cyber weapon to help America, but now a bad guy has it. You would have arrested me, and Reeves would have continued with his plan anyway. So what do we do now? Priya asked. We have 20 days. Until October. Dr. Frost stood and walked to her computers. I can help you. I have information about Reeves, how he thinks, where he might be, how his modified malware works. I also have my original kill switch code. If we can access the right servers before October 31, we might be able to disable the attack. Right? Diana said. That's not good enough. It's the best I can offer, Dr. Frost said. She opened a safe and pulled out a hard drive. This contains everything my original malware code, the kill switch, and all the information I have about Reeves' modifications. Diana took the hard drive carefully. How do we know this isn't a trick? How do we know you're telling the truth? You don't, Dr. Frost said simply. You have to decide whether to trust me or not. But Agent Foster, ask yourself this. If I really wanted to hurt you, why would I invite you into my home? Why would I give you this information? It was a good question, but Diana had been a federal agent long enough to know that good questions didn't always have good answers. We need to leave, Diana said, standing up. We'll analyze this hard drive and verify your information. If you've told us the truth, maybe we can work together. if you've lied. I understand, Dr. Frost said, but please hurry. Every day that passes, Reeves gets closer to his goal. They walked toward the door. Marcus was the last one out. He turned back to look at Dr. Frost. My daughter is 8 years old, he said quietly. Because of what you started, someone threatened her. It made me think she was in danger. Do you have any idea what that feels like? Dr. Frost's eyes filled with tears. I have a sister who died during the 2003 blackout. She was diabetic and couldn't get her insulin during the chaos. So yes, Mr. Chen, I know exactly what it feels like to lose someone because our infrastructure failed. That's why I dedicated my life to trying to fix it. Marcus wanted to stay angry, but he saw the pain in her face. She wasn't evil, she was just broken, like so many people who'd lost someone they loved. They left the ranch and walked back to their car. Nobody spoke until they were a mile away. Do we believe her? Priya finally asked. I don't know. Diana admitted everything she said could be true, or it could all be a lie to throw us off track. We need to analyze that hard drive, Marcus said. See if the information checks out. They drove back toward Missoula. Diana planned to use FBI resources to examine the hard drive's contents. But as they reached the city limits, Diana's burner phone rang. She answered it. Foster. Agent Foster, this is Director Walsh. Her boss's voice was ice cold. Where are you? Diana's stomach dropped. Sir, I'm following a lead on the October Alliance investigation. Without authorization? Without backup? Agent Foster, you've gone completely off the books. I want you back in Washington immediately. Sir, I'm close to a breakthrough. I just need a few more days.
You don't have a few more days. You're suspended. Effective immediately. Turn in your weapon and credentials to the nearest FBI field office. That's an order.
The call ended. Diana stared at the phone in shock. Suspended. After everything she'd done, all the progress they'd made, Walsh was pulling her off the case. What happened? Marcus asked. I've been suspended. Walsh found out I went off the books. Can he do that? Priya asked. He's my boss. He can do whatever he wants. They sat in the car trying to process this new problem. Without Diana's federal authority, they'd lost access to FBI resources, databases, and protection. So, what do we do now? Marcus asked. Diana looked at the hard drive in her hand. Then she looked at Marcus and Priya. These two civilians had risked everything to help stop this attack. They'd been threatened, scared, and pushed to their limits. But they hadn't quit. Diana made a decision that would change everything. We keep going, she said, with or without the FBI. And we analyzed this hard drive. We find Victor Reeves. We stop the attack. I didn't become a federal agent to follow orders when following orders means letting people die. You could go to prison for this, Priya warned. I know, but I'd rather go to prison knowing I tried to save lives than stay free knowing I gave up when it mattered most. Marcus nodded. I'm with you. Me too, Priya said. Diana started the car and headed toward the Missoula FBI field office. But she wasn't going to turn herself in. She was going to use her credentials one last time before they were deactivated to access the FBI's computer systems and analyze Dr. Frost's hard drive. They reached the field office at 2 p.m. Diana walked in with the hard drive while Marcus and Priya waited in the car. 30 minutes later, Diana came back out. Her face was pale. What did you find? Marcus asked. Dr. Frost was telling the truth, Diana said. The hard drive contains her original malware code, complete with a kill switch and a 47-minute timer. But there's also information about Reeves's modifications. He's changed everything, made it worse. Much worse. How much worse? Priya asked. Reeves isn't just targeting power grids. He's also planted malware in natural gas pipelines, water treatment facilities, and cell phone networks. If his version activates, we're not looking at a blackout, we're looking at complete infrastructure collapse. Marcus felt sick. How many people could die? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. It depends on how long the systems stay down and how quickly emergency services can respond. They sat in horrified silence. Finally, Priya spoke. Where is Reeves? Dr. Frost must have given us some clue. Diana pulled out her tablet. According to the hard drive, Reeves has been obsessed with symbolism. He wants to watch the attack happen from a location that has meaning. Dr. Frost thinks he'll be in one of the target cities, somewhere high up with a good view of the power distribution centers. Which city? Marcus asked. Phoenix, Arizona is in the middle of the target zone. Perfect for coordinating the attack. Then that's where we go, Priya said. Diana hesitated. I should tell you both, I just got an alert on my phone. My credentials have been deactivated. I'm officially no longer a federal agent. If we continue this investigation, we're on our own. No backup, no support, no authority. We're already this far, Marcus said. We can't stop now. Diana looked at both of them, a SpaceX analyst and a newspaper journalist. Both ordinary people who'd become extraordinary when it mattered. Okay, Diana said, we go to Phoenix, we find Reeves, and we end this. They started driving south toward Arizona. Behind them in Montana, Dr. Samantha Frost watched their car disappear on her security monitors. She picked up a phone and made a call. They're heading to Phoenix, just like you predicted, she said. Excellent, a man's voice replied. Everything is proceeding perfectly. The desert heat hit them like a wall when they arrived in Phoenix. It was 95 degrees, even though it was mid-October. Marcus, Diana, and Priya checked into a small motel on the edge of the city, paying cash and using fake names. They had 18 days until October. Diana spread papers across the motel room bed. According to Dr. Frost's files, Reeves has been in Phoenix for at least 3 weeks. He's setting up his command center somewhere with a view of the city's main power distribution facility. Marcus pulled up satellite images on his laptop. The power distribution center is downtown, near the convention center. If Reeves wants a high view of it, he'd need to be in one of the tall buildings nearby. How many tall buildings are there? Priya asked. Marcus counted. At least 20 buildings over 15 stories. That's a lot of places to search. We need to narrow it down, Diana said. She studied the information from Dr. Frost's hard drive. Reeves is a perfectionist. He'll want the best view possible. And he'll want secure internet access to control the malware remotely. Priya had an idea. What if we check which buildings have had unusual internet activity? Big data transfers, especially at night? The FBI could do that, Diana said bitterly. But I don't have FBI access anymore. But I have journalist contacts, Priya said. People at internet service companies who sometimes leak information to reporters. Let me make some calls. While Priya worked her phone, Marcus used his SpaceX access to scan thermal imaging from satellites. He was looking for heat signatures that might indicate someone running lots of computer equipment. Diana paced the motel room, feeling useless. For 15 years, she'd had the full power of the federal government behind her. Now she was just another person in a cheap motel room, trying to save the world with no authority and no backup. Her burner phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should have stayed in Washington, Agent Foster. Now you've made yourself a target too. Diana showed the message to the others. They know we're in Phoenix, Marcus said, his face worried. Of course they do, Diana replied. They've known our every move from the beginning, but we're running out of time to care about being careful. We need to find Reeves before October 31, even if it means taking risks. After 2 hours of work, Priya got a hit. One of my contacts at an internet company found something. There's been massive encrypted data flowing to and from an office building on East Washington Street. The building has been mostly empty for a year, scheduled for demolition in December, but someone has been paying the utilities to keep the power and internet running on the 23rd floor. That's it, Diana said. That has to be Reeves. They drove downtown to East Washington Street. The building was a 40-story office tower with dirty windows and a for lease sign out front. It looked abandoned. How do we get in? Marcus asked. Diana studied the building. The front entrance probably has security cameras. Even if the building is empty, we need another way. They walked around to the back and found a service entrance. The lock was old and rusty. Diana pulled out a small toolkit, something she always carried, and picked the lock in under 2 minutes. Inside, the building was dark and dusty. Their footsteps echoed in the empty hallways. They found the stairs and started climbing. 23 floors was a long way up. By the time they reached the 23rd floor, they were all breathing hard. Diana pulled out her service weapon. Even though she was suspended, she kept her gun. If Reeves was here, he might be dangerous. The 23rd floor had one long hallway with offices on both sides. Most of the doors were open, showing empty rooms. But at the end of the hall, one door was closed. Light showed underneath. They approached quietly. Diana listened at the door. She could hear the hum of computers and the clicking of a keyboard. Someone was definitely inside. Diana tried the door handle. Locked. She looked at Marcus and Priya and held up 3 fingers. 3, 2, 1. Diana kicked the door open and rushed inside, her gun ready. Freeze! Federal agent. The room was full of computer monitors showing data from power grid systems across all 15 target cities. Keyboards and cables covered a desk, and sitting at the desk was a woman, not Victor Reeves, but someone else. The woman turned around slowly, her hands raised. She was about 40 years old with short black hair. Don't shoot, the woman said calmly. My name is Jennifer Morrison. I work for Director Walsh at CISA. I've been trying to reach you, Agent Foster. Diana kept her gun pointed at the woman. How did you find this place? The same way you did, Jennifer said, by following the data trails. But I got here 3 days ago. I've been monitoring Reeves' communications. Where is Reeves? Diana demanded. He was here, Jennifer said, but he left yesterday. I think he knows we're getting close. He moved his operation somewhere else. Diana finally lowered her gun. Why should I trust you? Jennifer stood up slowly and pulled out her government ID. It looked real. Because I've been trying to stop this attack just like you have. Director Walsh sent me to track you down and bring you back to Washington. But when I got here and saw what Reeves was planning, I realized stopping the attack was more important than following orders. Priya stepped forward. You said you've been monitoring Reeves' communications. What did you learn? Jennifer turned to the computers. Reeves has been in contact with someone else, someone he calls the architect. I recorded one of their conversations. You need to hear this. She clicked a button and an audio file started playing. It was a phone call between two people, one with a rough military voice that must be Reeves, and another voice that was distorted to hide the person's identity. Reeves' voice, everything is ready for October 31. The malware will activate at exactly 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time. All 15 cities will go dark simultaneously. Distorted voice, and you're certain the emergency systems will fail. Reeves, positive. Police radios, fire department communications, hospital backup generators. Everything will go down within 28 minutes of the initial blackout. Distorted voice, good. That should give us enough time for phase 3. Reeves, about phase 3, are you sure we need to release the prisoners? That's going to cause a lot of chaos. Distorted voice, chaos is the point, Victor. We need America to understand how vulnerable it really is. A few thousand criminals on the streets for a few days will drive the message home. Reeves, I understand. But sir, what about the investigators? Foster, Chen, and Sharma? They're getting close. Distorted voice, let them get close. In fact, help them along. They think they're hunting us, but really, they're doing exactly what we want them to do. Reeves? I don't understand. Distorted voice, you don't need to understand, just follow the plan. October 31 will be perfect, and afterward Congress will have no choice but to fund the infrastructure repairs we've been asking for. The recording ended. Diana, Marcus, and Priya stood in shocked silence. That distorted voice, Priya said slowly. Do you know who it is? Jennifer's face was grim. I've been analyzing the audio. Even with the distortion, there are certain speech patterns, certain phrases that are distinctive. I think I know who the architect is. Who? Marcus asked. Director James Walsh, Jennifer said quietly. My boss, the head of CISA, the man in charge of protecting America's infrastructure. Diana felt like she'd been punched in the stomach. That's impossible. Walsh is a good man. He has dedicated his entire career to cybersecurity. Listen to the recording again, Jennifer said. Pay attention to specific phrases. Drive the message home. Fund the infrastructure repairs we've been asking for. Those are things Walsh says all the time in meetings. Diana listened to the recording again, and as much as she didn't want to believe it, Jennifer was right. The speech patterns matched. The phrases matched. Her boss, the man she trusted for 3 years, was the architect. Why? Diana whispered. Why would Walsh do this? Jennifer pulled up a file on the computer. I did some research into Walsh's background. In 2015, his teenage son died in a hospital during a power outage. The hospital's backup generator failed. Walsh's son died because the medical equipment stopped working. Dire shade. Marcus read the file. His son's name was Christopher. He was 17. He was in the emergency room after a car accident. The power went out during a storm. The backup generator was supposed to kick in, but it had been poorly maintained. By the time power was restored 27 minutes later, Christopher had died from internal bleeding. Walsh sued the hospital and the power company. Jennifer continued. He testified before Congress about infrastructure failures. He begged them to pass laws requiring better maintenance, better backup systems, better everything. And Congress ignored him just like they ignored Dr. Frost. Priya was taking notes, so Walsh decided to force Congress to act. He's going to create the disaster he warned them about. And when it's over, when people are dead and cities are in ruins, Congress will have to fund the repairs. It's not just about the repairs, Diana said. Understanding now, it's about revenge. Walsh lost his son because of infrastructure failure. Now he's going to make everyone else feel that same pain. Marcus thought about his own daughter, Lily. He understood grief. He understood wanting to protect children. But this was insane. We have to stop him, Marcus said. We have 18 days. 17 days now. Jennifer corrected, checking her watch. It's after midnight. It's October 4th. Diana looked at the computers showing the power grid systems. Can we disable the malware from here? Jennifer shook her head. Reeves took his access codes with him. These computers are just monitoring systems now. To stop the attack, we need to either find Reeves and get his codes, or we need to access the master control server. Where's the master control server? Priya asked. I don't know, Jennifer admitted, but Dr. Frost might. She designed the original system. Diana pulled out a burner phone and called Dr. Frost. The phone rang 4 times before she answered. Dr. Frost, it's, Diana Foster. We need to know where the master control server is located, the one that controls all the malware. There was a pause, and Dr. Frost said, it's hidden in a data center in Tempe, just outside Phoenix. I can give you the exact location. But Agent Foster, you should know something. Director Walsh called me 2 hours ago. He knows you're in Phoenix. He's sending people to stop you. Diana's blood ran cold. What kind of people? I don't know. But Walsh sounded desperate. I think he's realized you're getting too close to the truth. Be careful. The call ended. Diana looked at Marcus, Priya, Jennifer. Walsh knows we're here. We need to move fast. We go to the data center in Tempe. We access the master control server. We disable the malware before Walsh's people can stop us. And if they catch us? Marcus asked. Diana checked her weapon. Then we fight. They gathered their equipment and headed for the stairs. As they descended, Diana's mind raced. Walsh had been her mentor, her boss, someone she respected, and now she was hunting him like a criminal. But when they reached the ground floor and stepped outside, they found 3 black SUVs blocking their path. Armed men in tactical gear surrounded them. A man stepped forward. He was wearing a suit, not tactical gear. He looked like a government official. Agent Foster, the man said. I'm Special Agent Martinez from FBI Internal Affairs. You're under arrest for unauthorized investigation, misuse of federal resources, and failure to comply with direct orders. Put down your weapon. Diana looked at the armed men surrounding them. There were at least 12 of them, all with automatic rifles. She couldn't win this fight? Slowly, Diana put her gun on the ground. Special Agent Martinez walked forward and picked up Diana's weapon. Hands behind your heads, all of you. Marcus, Priya, Diana, and Jennifer complied. The armed men moved in closer, their rifles pointed at the 4 investigators. This is a mistake, Diana said, trying to stay calm. We're trying to stop a terrorist attack. There's a coordinated strike plan for... We know about your theories, Agent Foster, Martinez interrupted. Director Walsh briefed us. He said you've become obsessed with a conspiracy that doesn't exist. He said you've gone off the books and dragged civilians into your paranoia. Walsh is lying, Jennifer spoke up. He's the architect. He's the one planning the attack. Martinez looked at Jennifer with pity. Miss Morrison, Director Walsh warned us you'd been influenced by Agent Foster's delusions. He was very concerned about your mental state. We have proof, Priya said quickly. Audio recordings of Walsh coordinating with Victor Reeves. Files showing the malware planted in power grid systems. We can show you everything. Martinez gestured to his men. Search them. Confiscate all phones, computers, and recording devices. The tactical team moved in and took their phones, Marcus's laptop, and the tablet Jennifer had been using. All their evidence was gone in seconds. You're making a terrible mistake, Diana said, her voice desperate. In 17 days, 15 cities are going to lose power. Thousands of people could die, and you're helping the person responsible. Cuff them, Martinez ordered. We're taking them back to Washington for questioning. As the agents moved forward with handcuffs, Marcus made a split-second decision. He suddenly shouted, "Run," and shoved one of the tactical officers as hard as he could. The officer stumbled backward, creating a gap in the circle of armed men. Ria was the quickest to react. She sprinted through the gap and ran down the dark street. Marcus was right behind her. "Stop," Martinez yelled. "Don't shoot. We need them alive." Diana and Jennifer used the confusion to break away too. They ran in a different direction, hoping to split up the agents pursuing them. Gunshots rang out, warning shots fired into the air, but Martinez had ordered not to shoot the fugitives, which gave them a chance. And Marcus and Priya ran through back alleys and side streets. Phoenix's downtown was mostly empty at this late hour. They could hear footsteps and shouting behind them, but they didn't look back. There, Priya pointed to a parking garage. They ducked inside and ran up the stairs to the 3rd level. They hid between 2 parked cars, trying to catch their breath. That was insane, Priya gasped. We just ran from the FBI. We didn't have a choice, Marcus said. They took all our evidence. If they take us back to Washington, we'll be locked up while Walsh proceeds with his plan. They heard voices and footsteps in the parking garage. The FBI agents were searching for them. We need to get out of Phoenix, Marcus whispered. We need to find Dr. Frost. She's the only one who can help us now. We don't have phones, no money, no transportation. Marcus thought for a moment. I still have my SpaceX ID badge. We can get to the airport. There's a SpaceX facility there. I can call Elon Musk, he'll help us. It was a desperate plan, but it was the only one they had. Meanwhile, Diana and Jennifer had run in the opposite direction. They made it 6 blocks before Jennifer stumbled and fell, twisting her ankle badly. Leave me, Jennifer gasped. You have to keep going. I'm not leaving you, Diana said. She helped Jennifer up and they hobbled into an all-night diner. The diner was nearly empty, just one waitress and a cook. Diana and Jennifer collapsed into a booth at the back. We need to call someone, Jennifer said, wincing from her ankle pain. Someone who can help us? Whew, everyone thinks we're crazy. Martinez has all our evidence. Walsh controls the narrative. The waitress came over. You two okay? You look like you've been through something rough. Diana forced a smile. We're fine. Just had a bad night. Can we get some coffee? Sure thing, honey. After the waitress left, Jennifer leaned close to Diana. I memorized something before they took my tablet. The address of the data center in Tempe, where the master control server is located. 2847 South Mill Avenue. What good does that do us? We can't get there. We're fugitives now. But someone else could, Jennifer said. What about Dr. Frost? She knows how to access the system. If we could somehow contact her. Diana thought about it. Dr. Frost had given them her phone number, but their phones had been confiscated. They had no way to call her. Or did they? Diana looked at the payphone on the wall near the restrooms. Did those even work anymore? She walked over and picked up the receiver. She heard a dial tone. It worked. But she didn't have any coins for the payphone. Diana went to the counter. Excuse me, do you have change for a 20? The waitress looked at her suspiciously. We don't usually break large bills this late at night. Are you in some kind of trouble? Diana made a decision. Sometimes you had to trust strangers. Yes, I'm a federal agent investigating a terrorist attack. The people I work for have turned against me because I got too close to the truth. I need to make a phone call that might save thousands of lives. The waitress stared at her for a long moment. Then she reached into her apron and pulled out a handful of quarters. Here, make your call. And honey, whatever you're fighting against, don't give up. Diana felt tears prick her eyes. Thank you. She went to the payphone and dialed Dr. Frost's number from memory. The phone rang 3 times. Hello? Dr. Frost's cautious voice answered. Dr. Frost, it's Diana Foster. The FBI arrested us, but some of us got away. We lost all our evidence. We need your help. Where are you? A diner in downtown Phoenix. We can't stay here long. Dr. Frost, we know Walsh is the architect. We know everything, but we need to access the master control server to stop the malware. Can you help us? There was a long pause. Diana could hear Dr. Frost breathing, thinking, I can do better than that, Dr. Frost finally said. I'm coming to Phoenix. I should arrive by dawn. I'll bring everything we need to shut down the malware. But Agent Foster, you need to understand something. Walsh isn't working alone. He has people inside the FBI, inside CISA, inside multiple agencies. They'll be looking for you everywhere. I know. Well, I didn't till you get here. There's a storage facility on the east side of Phoenix. Desert Safe Storage Unit 2047. I've been renting it under a fake name for 2 years, just in case. The code is the 1847. Hide there. I'll meet you at dawn. Why are you helping us now? Diana asked. You started this whole thing. Because I was wrong, Dr. Frost said quietly. I thought a controlled demonstration would save lives in the long run, but Walsh doesn't want a demonstration. He wants destruction. He wants revenge. And I won't be responsible for that. I'll see you at dawn. The call ended. Diana returned to the booth where Jennifer waited. Dr. Frost is coming to Phoenix. We have a place to hide until she arrives. What about Marcus and Priya? I don't know where they are. I hope they got away. They left money on the table for the coffee they never drank and slipped out the back door of the diner. The streets were dark and quiet. Somewhere out there, FBI agents were searching for them. Marcus and Priya made it to Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Using Marcus's SpaceX badge, they gained access to the private terminal where corporate jets landed. The SpaceX facility was small, just a hangar and an office, but it had phones and computers. Marcus called Elon Musk's emergency number. Musk answered on the second ring. Marcus, I've been trying to reach you. The FBI called asking about you. They said you're wanted for questioning.
It's all lies, Mr. Musk. We discovered who's really behind the October 31 attack. It's Director Walsh from CISA. He's planning to destroy infrastructure in 15 cities to force Congress to fund repairs. But when we tried to stop him, the FBI arrested us. We barely got away.
There was silence on the other end. Then Musk said, That's quite a story, Marcus. How do I know you're telling the truth? Because you received a warning 3 weeks ago. Someone told you about something evil planned for the end of October. That warning was real. The threat is real. And we're running out of time to stop it. Another pause. Then, what do you need? Transportation out of Phoenix. A place to hide. And access to secure communications so we can coordinate with the other investigators. I can provide all of that. Stay where you are. I'm sending a plane to pick you up. You'll be in Los Angeles in 90 minutes. We have a secure facility there where you can work. Thank you, Mr. Musk. Marcus, don't thank me yet. If you're wrong about this, you're going to prison. But if you're right, and you stop this attack, you'll be heroes. Now get on that plane and figure out how to save those cities. Across Phoenix, 4 different groups were now moving through the darkness. Dana and Jennifer are limping toward the storage facility. Marcus and Priya waiting for the SpaceX plane. FBI agents searching the city for the fugitives. And somewhere else, Director James Walsh monitoring everything from secure location, confident that his plan was still proceeding perfectly. But there was one thing Walsh didn't know, one piece of information he'd missed. Dr. Frost had kept a backup of everything, every code, every password, every piece of the malware design, and she was bringing it all to Phoenix. The game wasn't over yet. 17 days until October. 17 days to stop the architect. October 14th, 2025, 6:07 a.m. Desert Safe Storage, Phoenix. Diana and Jennifer sat in the dark storage unit, exhausted and scared. Jennifer's ankle was swollen and purple. Diana had wrapped it with cloth torn from her shirt, but it needed real medical attention. They'd been hiding for 3 hours, listening to sirens outside as police and FBI agents searched the area. Every time footsteps passed near their unit, they held their breath and stayed perfectly still. As dawn light began creeping under the storage unit door, they heard a vehicle pull up outside. That car door opened and closed. Footsteps approached. Diana positioned herself behind the door, ready to fight if it was FBI agents. The door handle rattled, then the electronic lock beeped. Someone had entered the code. The door rolled up. Dr. Samantha Frost stood there, carrying 2 large duffel bags. She looked tired but determined. Agent Foster, Miss Morrison, I'm glad you made it safely. Diana relaxed slightly. You came. I told you I would. Dr. Frost stepped inside and closed the door behind her. She set down the duffel bags and pulled out bottles of water and energy bars. Eat something, you look terrible. While they ate, Dr. Frost opened one of the bags and pulled out a laptop. This contains everything we need. My original malware code. The kill switch, and most importantly, access codes to the master control server. Can we stop the attack from here? Jennifer asked. Not exactly, Dr. Frost said. The master control server is in a data center in Tempe. We need to physically access it. The security is too tight for remote hacking. I designed it that way to prevent exactly what we're trying to do now. Diana, finish your water. So we break into the data center. Yes, but there's something else you need to know. Something I haven't told you yet. Dr. Frost's face was serious. October 31 isn't the real attack. It's just the test. Diana and Jennifer stared at her in shock. What do you mean? Diana demanded. Dr. Frost pulled up files on her laptop. My original plan was to shut down power for 47 minutes on October 31, just long enough to prove the vulnerability and scare Congress into action. But Walsh and Reeves have modified everything. October 31 is now phase 1 of a much larger plan. How much larger? Jennifer asked, her voice shaking. Phase 1 on October 31 causes the blackout and tests whether the malware works correctly. But phase 2 happens on November 15, exactly 2 weeks later. That's when Walsh plans to permanently destroy key infrastructure components. Not just turn them off, but physically damage them beyond repair. Diana felt sick. How do you know this? Because Walsh called me last night. He wanted to recruit me back to his side. He said I'd started something important and that I should finish it with him. During our conversation, he explained his complete vision. Dr. Frost showed them a document on their screen. Phase 1 creates chaos and proves vulnerability. Phase 2 causes lasting damage that will take months or years to repair. And Phase 3, she paused. Phase 3 happens during the confusion of Phase 2. That's when Walsh plans to release a virus into government computer systems, a virus that will destroy financial records, military databases, and classified information. He wants to cripple the entire federal government, Jennifer whispered. Not cripple, Dr. Frost corrected. Destroy. Walsh believes the current government has failed the American people. He wants to force a complete rebuilding of how America operates. New leaders, new systems, new everything. Diana couldn't believe what she was hearing. This isn't about infrastructure repairs anymore. This is about revolution. Exactly, Dr. Frost said. Walsh lost his son because systems failed. Now he wants to destroy those systems completely and rebuild them from scratch. He's convinced himself he's saving America by destroying it first. We have to stop him, Diana said. Not just October 31. but all of it. How? Dr. Frost typed commands into her laptop. We need to access the master control server and input my kill switch code. That will disable all the malware, not just for October 31, but permanently. It will erase everything Walsh and Reeves have planted in the systems. When do we go? Jennifer asked.
Today.
Now, we've already lost too much time, but we have a problem. Dr. Frost showed them surveillance footage on her laptop. The data center is being watched. Walsh has posted guards. His own people, not regular security. He knows we might try this. Diana studied the footage. 6 armed men surrounded the building. We can't fight our way through 6 guards. We don't have to, Dr. Frost said. There's a ventilation shaft that leads directly to the server room. It's small, but a person could fit through it. The shaft entrance is on the roof. How do we get to the roof without the guards seeing us? Jennifer asked. The building next door is under construction, Dr. Frost explained. We can access its roof, then use climbing equipment to cross to the data center roof. It's risky, but possible. Diana looked at Jennifer's swollen ankle. You can't climb with that injury? Jennifer nodded reluctantly. I know. I'll stay here and monitor communications. I can warn you if FBI or Walsh's people get close. What about Marcus and Priya? Diana asked. We should try to contact them. But Dr. Frost pulled a burner phone from her bag. I have a secure number that connects to Elon Musk's emergency line. If Marcus reached SpaceX, Musk can connect us. Diana dialed the number. After 3 rings, a familiar voice answered.
This is Musk.
Mr. Musk, this is Diana Foster. I'm with Dr. Frost. Are Marcus and Priya with you? They're at my facility in Los Angeles. Safe for now. The FBI is looking for them, but I've got good security. What's your situation? Diana explained quickly the master control server, the kill switch, the plan to infiltrate the data center. I can help, Musk said. I'll send a helicopter to pick you up and bring you to Los Angeles. We can coordinate from here. No time, Diana said. We need to access the server today, but we need Marcus's help. Can you patch him through? A moment later, Marcus's voice came on the line. Diana, are you okay? I'm fine, Marcus. We need your satellite access. Can you monitor the data center in Tempe and tell us where the guards are positioned? Already on it, Marcus said. Diana could hear typing in the background. I'm pulling up thermal imaging now. I see 6 guards around the perimeter, just like Dr. Frost said, but there's something else. I'm detecting electronic signals from inside the building, lots of them, more than a normal data center should have. What does that mean? Diana asked. Either there's a lot of computer equipment running, or there are more people inside than we thought. Dr. Frost leaned close to the phone. Marcus, can you tell if anyone is in the server room? Specifically, more typing? The thermal imaging isn't detailed enough to tell which room people are in, but there are definitely multiple heat signatures inside the building. Could be Reeves, Dr. Frost said. He might be there personally, making sure nothing goes wrong. Then we'll have to deal with him, Diana said. Marcus, keep monitoring. If anything changes, call this number immediately. Be careful, Marcus said. Priya and I will be ready to help however we can. Diana ended the call and looked at Dr. Frost. Let's gear up. We're going in. Diana and Dr. Frost approached the construction site next to the data center. They wore dark clothes and carried backpacks with climbing equipment. Jennifer stayed behind in the storage unit, monitoring police scanners and FBI communications. The construction site was busy with workers, which actually helped them blend in. They found the service elevator that went to the roof and they rode it up, pretending to be inspectors. On the roof, the hot Arizona sun beat down on them. Across a 20-foot gap, they could see the data center roof. Dr. Frost pulled out a climbing rope and a grappling hook from her backpack.
You've done this before? Diana asked, surprised.
I was a rock climber in college, Dr. Frost said, before I became obsessed with computers. She threw the grappling hook. It took 3 tries, but finally it caught on the data center's roof edge. Dr. Frost tested the rope, pulling hard to make sure it would hold.
I'll go first, Dr. Frost said. If the rope breaks, better it's just me.
If the rope breaks, we both fall, Diana pointed out. But I'm lighter, I should go first.
They argued for a moment, then Diana simply grabbed the rope and started climbing across. Hand over hand, she pulled herself over the gap. Below, traffic moved through the streets. If anyone looked up, they'd see her dangling between 2 buildings. Diana reached the data center roof and pulled herself up. Her arms were shaking from effort. Dr. Frost came across next, moving more smoothly despite being older. They found the ventilation shaft exactly where Dr. Frost said it would be. Diana removed the cover and looked down into darkness. How far down, she asked. About 30 feet. There's a ladder inside the shaft. It leads directly to the server room. Diana climbed in first. The shaft was tight and smelled like dust and metal. She climbed down carefully, testing each rung of the ladder before putting her full weight on it. At the bottom, she found a grate covering the opening into the server room. Through the grate, she could see rows of computer servers, their lights blinking in the darkness, and she could see two people in the room. One was a man in his late 50s, wearing military-style clothing, Victor Reeves, based on the photos they'd seen.
The other person made Diana's heart stop.
Director James Walsh stood next to Reeves, looking at a tablet computer. The FBI has them surrounded in Phoenix, Walsh was saying. Foster and Morrison will be captured within hours. Chen and Sharma are hiding at a SpaceX facility, but they can't stay there forever. By tonight, all 4 investigators will be in custody. What about Dr. Frost? Reeves asked. She's gone dark again, but without the others, she's not a threat. She won't risk coming after us alone. Walsh smiled. Everything is proceeding exactly as planned. October 31 will be perfect, and I'll never see Phase 2 coming. Diana watched from the ventilation shaft, barely breathing. Dr. Frost climbed down beside her. When Dr. Frost saw Walsh through the grate, her face went pale. She whispered directly into Diana's ear, "We need to get out of here. Now. This is a trap." But before they could move, the lights in the ventilation shaft suddenly turned on. An alarm began blaring. Walsh looked up at the grate and smiled. "Hello, Agent Foster. Dr. Frost. Thank you for coming. We've been waiting for you." Diana's hand moved to her weapon, but she'd left it behind to climb more easily. She and Dr. Frost were trapped in the ventilation shaft with nowhere to go. Walsh pressed a button on his tablet. The grate covering the ventilation shaft opening unlocked and swung open. "Please come down," Walsh said calmly. "I promise we won't hurt you. We just need to talk." Diana and Dr. Frost had no choice. They climbed down from the shaft into the server room. 4 armed guards appeared from behind the server racks, their weapons ready. Walsh gestured to 2 chairs. "Sit, both of you." They sat. Diana's mind raced, looking for any way to escape, but the guards surrounded them, and the only exit was locked. "How did you know we were coming?" Diana asked. Walsh smiled. "Because I want you to come. Everything you've discovered, every step you've taken, I planned it all. Dr. Frost, you called Agent Foster and told her about this data center. You gave her hope that she could stop the attack. But this data center?" Walsh gestured around the room. "It's not the real control center. It's a decoy." Dr. Frost's face went white. "No. The server locations in my files were files I fed to you months ago," Walsh said. "When you started having doubts about our plan, I knew you'd eventually try to stop me, so I prepared false information for you to find. The real master control server is somewhere you'll never find it." Dana felt her hope crumbling. "So the kill switch code? Worthless," Walsh said. "It would work if this were the real server. But it's not." Reeves stepped forward looking uncomfortable. "Sir, is this really necessary? We have him. We should just what, Victor?" Walsh turned to him sharply. "Kill him? That would make us murderers." "We're not murderers. We're patriots trying to save America from itself." "By destroying 15 cities?" Diana said. "By killing thousands of people?" Walsh's expression hardened. "My son, Christopher, was 17 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. He wanted to be an engineer, to build things that help people. He died because a hospital was too cheap to maintain their backup generator properly. He died because Congress refused to pass laws requiring better infrastructure standards." Walsh's voice broke slightly. "I held my son while he died, Agent Foster. I watched the life drain from his eyes while the hospital lights stayed dark. The doctors couldn't do anything. The equipment didn't work. And do you know what Congress did when I testified about what happened? They offered me sympathy. They said they'd look into it, and then they did nothing." "I'm sorry about your son," Diana said, genuinely. "But James isn't the way. You're going to create thousands more grieving parents. Thousands more people who lose someone they love."
In the short term, yes, Walsh admitted.
"But in the long term, I'll save millions. After October 31, Congress will have no choice but to completely rebuild our infrastructure. They'll spend trillions of dollars making sure power grids, water systems, hospitals, everything works properly. My plan will prevent future disasters that would kill far more people." Dr. Frost spoke up. "James, I thought the same thing. I convinced myself that a small amount of pain now would prevent greater pain later, but I was wrong. We don't get to choose who lives and dies. We don't get to play God." "Then who does make those choices?" Walsh demanded. "The politicians who ignore warnings? The corporations who cut corners to save money? At least I'm making choices that lead to real change." Diana tried a different approach. "What about your son? Would Christopher want you to do this? Would he want other children to suffer so you could make a point? For the first time, Walsh's confidence wavered. Don't talk about my son, you didn't know him. No, but I know what it's like to lose someone, Diana said. My brother died in a car accident 5 years ago. It destroyed me. But I didn't become a terrorist. I became a federal agent, so I could protect people, so I could prevent other families from feeling that pain. Walsh was quiet for a long moment. Then he said softly, "It's too late to stop now. The malware is already in place. The countdown has begun. In 17 days, October 31 will happen exactly as planned." It doesn't have to. Dr. Frost said, "James, you have the power to stop this right now. You can shut down the malware. You can choose a different path." And then what? Walsh asked bitterly. Congress goes back to ignoring the problem. My son's death means nothing? No. I've come too far to turn back now. Diana realized Walsh wasn't going to change his mind with words. He'd convinced himself too completely that he was right. She needed a different strategy. "Where are Marcus and Priya?" Diana asked. "What have you done with them?" "They're safe at the SpaceX facility in Los Angeles," Walsh said. "For now. But Elon Musk will eventually turn them over to authorities. He has no choice. He can't harbor fugitives forever." Diana had an idea. A desperate, dangerous idea. But it was the only option left. "James, you said you're not a murderer. You said you're a patriot. Prove it. Let Dr. Frost and me go. If your plan is as unstoppable as you claim, we can't hurt it anyway. So why keep us prisoner?" Walsh studied her. "Because you'll warn people. You'll tell them to prepare, to evacuate, to stock up on supplies. That would reduce the impact of October 31. I need the full impact so Congress truly understands the danger." "So you do want people to die," Diana said. "You're not trying to save lives. You're trying to cause maximum suffering." "I'm trying to cause maximum awareness," Walsh corrected. "There's a difference." "Is there?" Dr. Frost asked quietly. Walsh turned away from them, looking at the server displays. "Victor, keep them here. Make sure they're comfortable, but don't let them leave. I need to coordinate with our people in the other cities." Reeves nodded. "Yes, sir." Walsh walked toward the exit, then paused and looked back at Diana. "For what it's worth, Agent Foster, you are always my best investigator. You're smart, dedicated, and you care about people. In another life, we could have worked together to actually fix these problems, but in this life, you're just an obstacle." They left, the door locked behind them with a heavy click. Diana and Dr. Frost sat in their chairs, surrounded by guards. They'd failed. Walsh had been 10 steps ahead the entire time. The real master control server was somewhere else, somewhere they couldn't find it. 17 days until October. 17 days until millions of people would be thrown into darkness and chaos. And they were prisoners with no way to stop it. Dr. Frost leaned close to Diana and whispered, "The ventilation shaft. Did you notice the screws on the grate were loose?" Diana had noticed. "You think we can get back up there? If we can create a distraction, get the guards to look away for just 30 seconds. Even if we escape, where do we go? Walsh has the FBI looking for us. He has armed men all over Phoenix, and we still don't know where the real control server is." Dr. Frost's eyes were intense. "But I know someone who might. Jennifer Morrison. She's been inside CISA for years. She has access to Walsh's files, his communications, his travel records. If anyone can figure out where Walsh hid the real server, it's her." Diana thought about Jennifer back at the storage unit with her injured ankle. Could she really find information that Walsh had hidden so carefully? "It's our only chance," Dr. Frost said. One of the guards walked closer, stopped whispering, "No talking." Diana nodded obediently, but her mind was working on a plan. They needed a distraction, something that would pull all the guards' attention away simultaneously. She looked around the server room, rows and rows of computer equipment, all running, all hot, fire suppression systems in the ceiling, emergency alarm panels on the walls. If someone pulled a fire alarm, the suppression systems would activate. That would create chaos, enough chaos to slip away. But Diana was sitting in a chair with 4 armed guards watching her. She couldn't reach the alarm panel unless... Diana suddenly stood up and walked toward the nearest guard. "I need to use the bathroom," she said loudly.
"Sit down," the guard ordered.
"I really need to go, unless you want me to have an accident right here." The guard looked uncomfortable. "Fine." Lieutenant Thompson escorted her to the bathroom. One guard moved to take Diana out of the room. That left 3 guards watching Dr. Frost. Diana walked toward the door, the guard behind her. As they passed the emergency alarm panel, Diana suddenly stumbled and fell into the wall, her hand hitting the alarm. Immediately, sirens began wailing. The fire suppression system activated, spraying foam throughout the server room. The guards started shouting in confusion. Dr. Frost didn't waste a second. She jumped from her chair and ran to the ventilation shaft. She grabbed the loose grate and pulled herself up into the shaft. The guards fired their weapons, but the foam made it hard to see. Bullets ricocheted off metal surfaces. Diana shoved past the guard escorting her and ran back into the server room. Through the foam and chaos, she found the ventilation shaft and climbed up after Dr. Frost. They scrambled up the shaft, climbing the ladder as fast as they could. Behind them, they heard guards shouting and more gunfire. They reached the roof and ran. Their grappling hook and rope were still there. Diana went across first, moving hand over hand across the gap between buildings. Her arms screamed with effort, but fear drove her forward. Dr. Frost followed. Halfway across, they heard a door burst open on the data center roof. Guards poured out. "There," someone shouted.
A bullet struck the rope near Dr. Frost's hands. The rope frayed but held.
They reached the construction building roof and ran for the elevator. More guards appeared from the construction site, but Diana and Dr. Frost were faster. They made it into the elevator and pressed the button for ground level. As the elevator descended, Dr. Frost checked her phone. 3 missed calls from Jennifer. She called back. Jennifer answered immediately. "Thank God you're alive. I've been monitoring communications. Walsh just ordered FBI teams to raid the SpaceX facility in Los Angeles. Marcus and Priya are in danger. They have maybe 20 minutes before the raid happens." Diana grabbed the phone. "Can you warn them?" "I've been trying. They're not answering their phones. Keep trying. We're coming back to the storage unit. We need to regroup and figure out where the real control server is." "There's something else," Jennifer said, her voice tense. "I hacked into Walsh's email account. I found something. Travel records. Walsh flew to Virginia 3 times in the past month. Each time he went to the same location, Arlington, Virginia, near the Pentagon." Diana felt a surge of hope. The real server is in Arlington? I think so. There's a secure government facility there. It would be the perfect place to hide something like this. The elevator reached the ground floor. Diana and Dr. Frost ran out into the parking lot where they'd left their car. "We need to get to Arlington," Diana said. "That's where we'll find the real master control server." "That's across the country," Dr. Frost said. "It will take us days to drive there. Then we fly, we'll find a way." They got in the car and sped away from the data center. Behind them, guards poured out of the building, but they were too late. Diana called Marcus using Dr. Frost's phone. He answered on the first ring. "Marcus, FBI is about to raid your location. You and Priya need to leave immediately." "Where do we go?" "Find a way to get to Arlington, Virginia. That's where the real control server is. We'll meet you there." "How do we..." The line went dead. Diana tried calling back, but there was no answer. She could only hope Marcus and Priya would escape before the FBI arrived. 16 days until October, and they just lost their only safe location. Marcus, Diana, Priya, and Dr. Frost had 16 days left to stop the greatest cyber attack in American history. Would they find the real control server in Arlington? Would they save millions of people from darkness and chaos? Or would Director Walsh's plan succeed, plunging 15 cities into catastrophe on Halloween night? Sometimes the greatest threats come from those we trust the most. And sometimes ordinary people become heroes when the world needs them. Now, I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's amazing to connect with listeners from all around the world. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this one.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss what's coming next.
We create emotionally engaging content that makes you think, feel, and see the world differently. Finally, share this video with your friends and family. Content like this spreads awareness about the real vulnerabilities in our world. It reminds us that ordinary people can make extraordinary differences. Let's spread kindness and awareness together. Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you next time.